Morning Gladiators. Today is Tuesday, October 6th. Today we are going to be completing a revising and editing CDB. Here is your code. So just like we did with the reading CDB, just go to CMS, enter this code, and complete your CDB, please. And then we're going to be reading a paired poem by Emily Dickinson. And we're going to analyze using soaps and discuss its similarities to the short story Thank You Ma'am that we read yesterday. We'll be completing the paired theme discussion post. If you did not finish yesterday's exit ticket over Thank You Ma'am, please finish that and then read chapter 22 of Freak the Mighty. So in this poem by Emily Dickinson, the title is called If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin onto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. So here the definition of vain is excessively proud or concerned about one's own appearance, qualities, achievements, conceited, a vain dandy. So using soaps, how would we analyze this poem? Who is the speaker and what is her tone? So the speaker of this poem is talking about helping people from a broken heart and wanting it to make a difference and not live in vain, giving meaning to her life. The tone would be soothing, optimistic. The occasion or the setting could be helping people in need, being there in a place when you can be helpful, such as a robin who has fallen out of their nest and she was able to put it back up again. So just in general and in nature and amongst people who need you. And the purpose or theme of the poem. So the theme might be help others when they are in need, make something out of your life so that you can live for others. So using the definition vain, she doesn't want to be so concerned about herself. She wants to help others. So the event's taking place. She is helping someone from a broken heart. She wants to ease somebody's pain or aching by cooling it, and she would like to return a robin who has fallen, and now her life has more meaning than just about herself. So which line reminds you of the way Miss Jones from Thank You Ma'am might be thinking? So let's go back and think about which line could we can compare with Miss Luella Bates Washington Jones. So we click on this link. It's going to tell us more about Emily Dickinson. If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking. Emily Dickinson is a towering figure in American literature. She's a 19th century poet, a prolific writer, and she remained secluded from the world for most of her life. Her poetry has a rare quality of truthful observation. Her words echo the images around her. She did not stick to any particular genre, as she wrote whatever intrigued her the most. In this poem, to understand the poem, one needs to understand the poet and her life. Emily Dickinson was a recluse, which means she did not leave her home, who had barely any interaction with people outside of her home. Most of her adult life was spent shut away from the world, where she attended to her ill mother and the affairs of her home. Emily Dickinson expressed her sentiments through poem. The poem can be categorized as a love poem. Though the love expressed is hardly romantic, it talks about love so deep that it places others before yourself. Selfless love is the true form of love. In this poem, the poet talks about how she would happily spend her life helping those who suffer from heartbreak, deep sadness, and despair. By wishing to help a fainting robin back into the nest, she reveals her vulnerable and sensitive side. Her deep sensitivity for the welfare of others, even before herself, is a message conveyed in the poem. It is a message of kindness and compassion for one human should afford another human without the need for display or drama, a life that is devoted to another's welfare and a life well lived. Which I find ironic because she didn't leave her house and she did not communicate with the world other than her poetry. She wanted to devote her life to helping others, but she was so afraid to be a part of the outside world. So I would like for you to finish reading these next two paragraphs and how they compare Mother Teresa to Emily Dickinson. And there are two complex questions that I'd like for you to attempt. Which of the following sentences best states an important theme about human behavior as described in both Thank You, Ma'am and Emily Dickinson? So which one of these would um, share the same theme for both the poem and the short story? And then once you select that, see which of these answer choices you could use to support your answer choice. And then I'd like for you to complete this chart. You could just do it in your L&B. Topics provide the subject matter of the story, usually in a word or short phrase. Themes, on the other hand, are universal messages or lessons from the story that can apply to humanity in general. So, what would be a theme using the topic of kindness? What theme can you write there that has to do with kindness in either the poem or the short story? What about compassion or trust? Explain in detail how the poem, Emily Dickinson and Langston Hughes, the poet by Emily Dickinson and the short story by Langston Hughes share a similar theme. So this is going to be your discussion post, this question right here. You're going to take this answered and provide it in the discussion post at the end of class. When you're done with that, please read Freak the Mighty, chapter 22. And that is all we have for today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day, years.